What's up, guys? It's Mr. Longo, and school starting again. And I thought it would be really cool to show you how history really impacts you. And we're not always when we're talking about history, we're not always talking about like the big grander scale history. Sometimes it's just history, your own history, and how it affects you. And what better way of doing it than to interview some of your teachers?
So hi, I am Miss Morris. I teach 7th grade English at Richard Merkin Middle School.
So my name is Beto. You guys can all just call me Beto if you guys don't already know me. And I'm an instructional aide here at Richard Merkin.
Well, hey guys, it's Miss Cliff.
Hey, 7th graders. My name is Edward Chavez, or I'm Mr. Chavez to you guys. I'm the 7th grade resource teacher.
My name is Chuck Wu, and to all the students, I'm Mr. Wu. But to give you a little brief history about myself, I am 28 years old. I have lived in Hong Kong for 10 years. I was born and raised in Hong Kong for 10 years. And I'm a Chinese immigrant, first generation with my parents. And I've lived here for 18 years now.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about my history, like where I grew up and stuff. So I was born and raised down in San Diego County. And that is a big part of my history because it's a very specific culture. It's a very beachy place. It's a very multicultural place. So that's where I grew up. Growing up, I lived with my parents, my mom and dad, and my younger brother, who was just a couple years younger than me. We also lived really close to my grandma. So my grandma was a big part of my history growing up. She would, pick us up from school, or if we were sick, we would stay with her during the day.
I was born in the Bay Area, so in Northern California, but I lived in a small town called Folsom, California for most of my life. My mom was a preschool teacher growing up, but she recently went back and got more education, and now she teaches at college, at the college level. And my dad was actually a police officer growing up for our really small town, so not really what we see as police officers in big cities.
My parents, let's start there because they're the ones who created me. They're both Mexican. They were raised in Mexico. Unfortunately, my upbringing was a bit difficult because my father passed away when I was young and when I was around middle school, I think. And so my mom's been both my dad and my mom. So yeah, that right there was a significant part of my life. Other than that, I have a younger sister, and we just recently got a new member to the family, a small pug. So we have a small 4-month-old pup, I think.
And a little bit about me. I was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles, so I lived kind of not too far from where Richard Merkin is. If you would go by, if anybody knows where Crenshaw is, around there, that's where I grew up. When it comes to my family, my parents are both Mexican, born in Mexico. My dad was born in Michoacan, and my mom was born in Jalisco. They both came as immigrants when they were between their 18s and their 20s. My dad actually came here illegally and snuck over here for a better life. My mom, she also came kind of illegally, but she just crossed the border and never went back. Yeah, well, I've always wanted to be a teacher. When I was in high school, I had like a little rough patch. So I used to go to a different high school, and around 10th grade, I got expelled and I had to go to a different school. And because I had to go to a different school, I got new teachers, and these new teachers were so different than the teachers I was used to. And they were much more real. Like, they would have real conversations with you. It wasn't all about just doing work. It was about, like, what do you want from your life? And it kind of made me want more from me. At some point, I was like, school's like whatever. But when I went to this new school, the teachers there, which was most of these teachers that really wanted to teach us much more than just the books or whatever the curriculum was, they kind of motivated me to want more for myself.
in reality, I did all of this because I wanted to treat those students the way I wish I was treated, and I wish that they will take all the opportunities that I didn't take because I didn't ask, or because my mom was so busy working and she didn't ask. So that's what I wanted to do. I was like, hey man, I'm gonna coach, and through coaching we're gonna get you academics, and through academics we're gonna get you to a path that you're gonna succeed, and then from that path you're gonna give back to your parents, and from that path you're gonna give back to the community, and it becomes a fulfilling like cycle.
Right.
And that was the moment.
I think there are two moments that made me want to be a teacher. One is when I was a little kid, when I would get home from school, I would get my little brother and then I would make him sit down and I would teach him whatever I was learning about. So I like taught him how to write in cursive while he was this little boy. So that's one moment. Like I knew I loved to be in charge. I loved to be teaching. But that was like my little kid world. And then I let that go for a while. I wanted to be like a lawyer, and then I wanted to work with dolphins, and then I wanted to be a journalist. I went through a lot of phases. But when I was in college and I was studying geology, I was walking through campus one day and I saw a flyer about the intro class for the Cal Teach program, which is a teaching credential program. And I saw this flyer and I was like, you know what? I have some room in my schedule next semester. Like, let me just try out this intro class. And as part of the class, you did like student teaching for just like an hour or two a week. And so jumping into that, it was kind of a wake-up call, like, oh man, this is so fun. Like I was looking forward to it every week, getting to go into the classroom. So that was just like that deciding moment. I was like, yep, this is what I want to keep doing.
So I like growing up before 6th grade, I didn't really want to be a teacher because the only thing that I had in mind was like my mom's teaching. She teaches preschool, which is she used to teach preschool, which is 3 and 4 year olds. And I always thought it was disgusting because they were always sneezing all over her and like it was really gross. So I was like, ew, that's what a teacher is. But then when I got to like 6th grade and it was like past elementary school and kids weren't as gross anymore, then my 6th grade English teacher, we were like writing for her class, and she was like, hey, you're really good at English. And I never really like realized that before now. And so I was like, oh, really? And she's like, oh yeah, you should totally like become a teacher. And I just kind of thought about that and I was like, oh, that would be like really fun to be able to keep practicing English and then get to teach other people that. So then like throughout my whole life, I always told like my English teachers like, oh, I want to be a teacher someday. And they always kind of like knew that. So then helped me in that, or was like, oh, here's a really cool thing you can do once you're an English teacher. And so I think that just kind of like pushed me, like having really good English teachers. Like I didn't have any bad English teachers. I had some other teachers that weren't as good in other subjects, but for some reason my English teachers were always great. So I always was like, oh, an English teacher is great. And that kind of pushed me.
I had a teacher named Mr. Chow, very personable guy, and he kind of brought me under a little bit, and it was chill, man. So like I learned a lot from him. He was my senior year AP calculus teacher, and just kind of instilling belief in me that like, hey, you can do this, like don't let me down. He kind of play on like the stereotype, hey, you're Asian, don't let me down, you should be good at math. Right. So it was just kind of funny guy, cool guy, got along with the students and knew everybody basically. But I think that was half the reason. The other half of the reason was I knew that like I wanted a career for myself where I got to spend time with my family. Seeing that my dad had to make the sacrifice to be away from my family and essentially provide, right? So I mean, on one hand, he's providing financially, but on the other hand, time was the sacrifice that he had to make. So I thought about like, hey, there were so many other career options out there, but I think being a teacher was going to give me the best of both worlds, because I also enjoy helping people, to be honest. And I find myself to be like my best self when I'm helping other people out. So I wanted to do that to pay it forward for my community, but at the same time, have the luxury of time to spend with my family, in my future family as well.
Now, I hope you guys understand. and saw through the video that even like negative events or positive events in your history can really, really, really affect you. You're not going to see it now, but as you get older, you're really going to notice it. Life lesson.